Transformers reviews, tech and the news, whatever else I use as a muse. Hit subscribe, I appreciate the views. Influences interest on YouTube.
What's going on, people? This is Influence. Thank you for joining me today on this Throwback Thursday. And I don't know what I'm doing with my fingers. Today we have Masterpiece Ultra Magnus as a throwback. Now it's a little newer throwback. Pull these mirrors out. Always forget the mirrors. You know, I feel like the kids, you know, the kids sometimes a couple years go by and they're like, oh, it's a throwback. But this has been around since it'll be on the screen because I don't remember, to tell you the truth, and I forgot to look before I started this video. But this was one of my first official MPs that I ever bought, and one of the first big purchases that I bought. And it's funny because I look at some of the stuff that's coming out now, and this wouldn't be considered a big purchase as far as money wise. But at the time, I was like, whoa, this guy is whoa. But I've seen him lately pop up in different forms and in different places, people selling him or people wanting him. So I just decided to do a Throwback Thursday. I don't have any more. At least I can't remember. I usually do some G1 figures for Throwback Thursday, but don't have any more. So I may be getting more G1 figures. If I do, I will do them in future videos. But however, I think this has been long enough to do a Throwback Thursday on Ultra Magnus. So Ultra Magnus was one of my favorite characters. Well, not favorite. He was a character that I liked a lot. There's characters that are more I'm more connected with, but I always liked this character. It was an extra prime. It's funny because I had Ultra Magnus, but I never had Optimus Prime. I think it coincides with maybe the time frame and what Christmas was, you know, what Christmas was where, and how much overtime my pops was doing, and my mom, like, you know, I think it just corresponded with those things, because when Prime came out, it was just too expensive. I didn't get it. So, but I remember the Christmas I got Ultra Magnus, the G1 version, and I was excited because I got a couple figures that Christmas, and it was probably the best Christmas besides recently, Transformers wise. I know my lady hooked me up recently, last Christmas or the Christmas before last. It was felt like 87. So, but anyway, here's this. He rolls well. I'm gonna go through this and maybe I'm gonna transform it and do a regular type of review. It shouldn't be too long though, so bear with me if you're here to see the robot. But yeah, it rolls well. You know, you got the rubber tires. You had this stuff out here where you could go like this and put it on the side if you wanted to, like that. Or if you want it in the front. I can't remember how I always had it on the toy, on the old toy, but I like it on the front because it seems to fit better. You had that, you had the thing, the cab could turn like this. I'm still not sure if I have this right. I don't know if this is supposed to be, I think it is, but I haven't transformed this guy in a really long time. So I just turned it from robot to here, and it was a piece of cake besides a couple parts up here that I didn't remember. Most of it was a piece of cake. Then you had all this underneath. You can basically see it. You can see his head. You can basically see the robot. But they do a couple cool things, like have a place to hide his face. And I think also Daniel and Spike, or I don't know, one of them or two of them came with this figure, and you could get them in here. I think you had to lift this all the way up. Take my word for it. There we go. Yeah, you lift this up, put them in there. It was like some seats. Then you could see them sitting in there. I don't know where they're at right now, so we can't do that. Then we had this thing that opened up. See, I got the little standing cliff jumper. The cliff jumper could go up in there and chill. You have him, and he could fit quite a few Autobots in here. He was wide enough. I think then they were concentrating. It was a different game, different Masterpiece game at this time. So yeah, you see how big, how large he is next to Masterpiece Cliff Jumper, which is pretty, I think that's pretty accurate for a big truck trailer like this. Anyway, so he had that gimmick. He had storage space for his gun up in that region. And just put these up. So let's get him into robot mode. Now in robot mode, he wasn't the best articulated figure, but we'll get there. Usually I like to, you can also disconnect these if you want. And I do actually like to disconnect this and this, but that's reminiscent also of back in the day. And you could also take this face off once you get his head, but take his helmet off, and he kind of has the prime face like he did again in the G1. I think that's cool, but there's not much you could do with that. You could change these faces, and he had another face that is on in the cab. It's on there. But yeah, you could change these faces, and they just went in there. So it was pretty easy. It's pretty, there's a lot of stuff that they did with this figure that was pretty great. But there was other stuff that they weren't doing with Masterpiece, so it's kind of dated on that front. So let's just move, really, we can move all this stuff. Move this stuff out like that. This is a big figure, so he can get kind of bulky, but I like to move this out, unpeg these right there, get his arms out. I'm not really gonna do a super tutorial, but you can really tell. You could see these things are together. There you go. Then the gun plugs together here, and then this plugs together right up here. So you can just get that out. It is pretty tight, and you can see that's been scraped off the paint, and it's from the gun. You see the gun, it's basically Ultra Magnus gun. Just a single cast, I don't know if that's paint. It looks like paint, but it could be plastic, just plain plastic. So lay these arms down up here. And I like to get the legs together, so I move these arms out the way, because the legs are the easiest part to get together. So to see these legs get together, there's some cool pieces too with this, because they snuck in some things. So this down here, can move that like that, and then you spin this part around. You can separate the legs too. You spin this around. You see it's on this little sliding thing right there. You can try to see the best angle. Make sure I'm not breaking it. Yeah, I think you just spin it around. Oh, okay. It's a peg right there. That peg was tight. So just spin this around, and all this folds up like this. Just worry about that. You do that over here. I guess you can get this peg off. Spin that around, and just angle these legs up like that, and you almost have the legs done. As you can see, it's not too. You fold all this up. There's a tab there, tabs into the back. If I can get it. Then these wheels, I love how they do these wheels, because they're just regular rubber wheels, but then you pull that out, and flip it around, and then you push it back up, and now he has, his wheels are hidden, and he has these little fake faux wheels on the side and make it kind of look clean. And it's kind of the mass shifting, because now the wheels are just like little and just a part of his feet. And oh, let me not forget this back here. He was sturdy. That's one thing. You see all this stuff up here just hanging out by his feet. His feet are, you know, he's just keeping it together. So then I like to pull this down, and you can't see that. Pull this down, and it becomes his, has a peg there, it becomes his waist. All this stuff right here. And you just want to, so this basically comes apart. Just pull that apart. Move these. You can move them in like that. They just move in, move it out and in. It's enough clearance to clear all of that. Just tuck that like that. Then you can pull this down. This comes down and becomes the chest area. Then you can move this head and slide it up so it's closer to the middle of all of that. Now you want to fool with this stuff right here. Now when you pull this, push this in, then it locks this from moving back and forth. So I'll do that now. So now it's locked and it won't move anywhere. And basically you just want to get all this stuff together. Put the mirrors in again, pull this up. I pull this up like this, just leave it like that. Then these sides come out, spin around, and there's a tab in there. See that tab right there? It's on both sides over here, and it tabs into this tire. Of course, on this side, it's the other tire. They put it back, tab it onto the tire by squeezing it in. Then this comes down, comes up like this, folds compact. And you fold it down like that and let it come around. And then, let me see. Yeah, I think that's it. Then you move this up. This is where the other face stores. So you got a face there. I'll take it off. And it's just like the screaming face, because he does have hands also. I think they're in the box. I don't have it, but you'll see. Put that up. Now this was a contention right here, basically a butt flap, but I just leave it up. It had enough tension to stay up, and it was fine. So now with this, how this, I was confused. I forgot. This stays in place from the arms. So you fold the arms out and that tab goes in there. So that's why it won't go nowhere. Just do it on both sides. Move this out the way. That comes into play later. It's always just kind of hard for me to get that in there. Now with this, it's on a double hinge. So you hinge it up, put it down. Then you have all this going on. So what you want to do, just turn this up. This goes in here. This flap right here goes in, because then it's going to go around this thing. Once you fold this up like this, goes around there. Then you move the arms down. Now this up here, just flip it up and it goes on top of there. Then you have this that spins around and it makes the little missiles on the side. Then you have the home stretch with this arm. Just pull it out, hinge it up on both sides. You got the arm done. Same thing over here. Pull this up. Put this flap down. Bend it up. Goes in there like that. Spin around. Double hinge. Spin this around. Spin this up. Flip up. Cap that off. Spin this around. Cap that off. Got it. Then you get this arm out like this. Together. And now you have Ultra Magnus. There's the flap that I was telling you about. I just leave it up so you can't see it from the front. It's not bad, not bad, not a bad figure at all. So you can see his face sculpt. Zoom in. Face sculpt, pretty stoic, pretty typical. Pretty typical Ultra Magnus. He has his gimmicks, of course. Open this up, open this up. Got the matrix spot. It's MP10's matrix fit in there. And his hands, he came with different hands that just plugged in. And they were grabbing hands, so he could grab these open. And you could like, you could situate the arms so he grabs these. And because he had the butterfly, kind of, where he comes out. You can create a butterfly with this. With that, you can get that range of motion. Close this for now. Right. Yeah, his articulation was very limited. You had that, besides having the open chest where you could open, but you could go all the way around. He didn't even have a 90-degree elbow. It was more like 85. His fingers didn't all move. This finger moved. And these fingers was on the like gripping hand. And you had the thumb that didn't move, was on the gripping hand. Like I said, he came with the other hands that you just pop out and put in. His knee didn't even get 90 degrees. He didn't go back any. He did go forward, but not all the way. And his ratchets weren't strong enough. So there was a lot of gripes with this guy. He's still one of my favorite MPs, officials, just because, I mean, look at him. He's Ultra Magnus. He looks the part. I know there's others out there, but he did have good ankle rocker. Well, not great. Okay ankle rockers. It's funny how the lenses, this is the first time I really took a look at this guy through like a review of a viewer's lens, I guess. And I probably wouldn't, I don't know if I would recommend him as far as his articulation being so limited and the ratchets not being great. I don't know. Looks wise, I definitely would recommend him because he fits the part. He looks exactly like, you have the typical masterpiece. He holds his gun well. Always put his gun in. I usually have his gun in his hand. He's usually on my speaker stand with, and Cyclonus is on the other speaker stand. I know they used to get into it. But yeah, this just pegged in. Always had his finger out for one. Just his gun, he holds it well. Had his missiles. Just Ultra Magnus. Yeah, like his articulation, I think, was the biggest pet peeve. He is a chunky bot. His feet are die cast, so it makes him heavier than he should be, or seem heavier. I mean, it doesn't seem heavier. He's heavy as he is heavy. He seems more hefty to be all plastic besides his feet. I think just his feet are die cast. I don't think any of this stuff is die cast. Maybe some of the parts, but most of it's plastic. So yeah, this is concluded my Throwback Thursday of Ultra Magnus. Masterpiece, official MP. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. And I will be doing more Throwback Thursdays. Of course, I will try to do probably some more first masterpieces. I might do my Seeker. I don't know, because that's the first masterpiece I ever bought. Was that Sunstorm. I think it's Sunstorm. But yeah, I may do that next week. That's the first masterpiece I ever bought, because it was at Toys R Us and I didn't even know anything about masterpiece. And I just saw it, thought it looked cool. It was like $55, which is crazy. But it was like $55 and I bought it many years ago. All right, I'll get up with you in the next video.
Ain't over, life ain't over, life ain't over, life ain't over. As long as you alive, you can give another try and take it real high.